Welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry.
The master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. This is episode 111. As always, you can check this podcast out on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes. If you're on iTunes, please rate, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps out greatly. You can also now listen to this podcast on Spotify. You can send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. Hit us up on Facebook at the Facebook Dojo Talk Podcast page. And you can hit me up on Twitter at Serial Sensei. With that being said, as always, I'm joined with my co-host, the Anti-Cool. What's going on, man?
Another week, another burgeoning New York hip-hop artist on the cusp of superstardom. It self-incriminates himself and is sent to jail. So, nothing new.
Yeah, the world keeps spinning. So is it safe to say that Tekashi, well, I'm not going to stay on this long, but is he officially a rat?
Yeah.
Is that the consensus?
Yeah. He's always been a rat. He was riding around Chicago with the police. Like, it just finally bit him in the ass.
Or you internet kids?
Bobby Schmurder died for nothing. Because nobody learned.
Nobody ever learns. Like, yeah, I mean, I didn't really listen to him, and this is a whole side tangent, but
it's terrible. Why would you?
But it's just like you watch him from like a distance, and it's like you kind of you can see like the kid had the world at his fingertips, and I get it. Like the trolling is kind of what got you on. So all right, whatever. It was stupid, but whatever. It worked apparently. But like eventually that gimmick just kind of, you can't do that forever. But he's gonna find that out.
I like to point out that being arrested literally saved his life. They arrested him because he fired his management crew, which were all gangbangers, and they were all going to super violate him with bullets.
Yeah, they had to get him out of there.
Yeah, so the fact that he's in jail saved his life, probably. Though he probably doesn't see it that way.
Do you watch Daredevil?
Not I probably should, but no.
Okay, just gonna make a Wilson Fisk snitch joke, but.
Oh, did he snitch in season 3?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Well.
I mean, everybody knows he's back, so.
Yeah. Well, he snitched, but it was kind of a setup. I know it. That I can't get it too deep into it, but yeah. But either way, man. Just moral of the Tekashi 6ix9ine story, whether you know who he is or not. Like the internet is one thing, but like there's still real life when you have to go outside. You still have to deal with real people and real things. You can't tweet when you're in the streets, like physically in the streets. It doesn't really work like that.
I mean, he was out there robbing people on Instagram, live stream.
I don't know, man. You internet children. No, I sound like the old guy, but no, you guys are just the internet children.
Do your dirt in private.
Yes.
That's
don't record. Yeah. Get it together.
Or just don't do it.
Yeah, that's really the start. Just don't do it. But yeah, just don't do it. Be above the influence. But that's it for that kid. Moving on. Top cities, listeners for the week. As always, thank you everybody from Tumblr who posts and reblogs and Twitter folk. All you guys out there, definitely appreciate it. top cities for the week. As far as listens go, number 1, El Cerrito, California. Number 2, Monticello, New York. Number 3, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Number 4, Mountain View, California. And number 5, Torrance, California. Right outside of number 5 with Farnham in the UK. So shout outs to you guys. Stokes must have got back on the street team. California's up here a bunch. So I'm assuming Stokes was handing out flyers or something.
Little rat cards.
Right. We give Stoke all the credit for all the California listeners. But appreciate you guys, man, for listening to us. So it's been a week, man. It's been a week in MMA, boy, oh boy.
Don't these move so fast?
Yeah, but
unlike Chuck Liddell.
We'll get to that. Last night, like, the year was moving fast, and then after last night, everything slowed down. Like, everything literally and figuratively slowed down, and I felt like that fight gave me a glimpse to see life as into what it really is, and it's not good. It's just.
You wanna know what last night was? Like, if you're a combat sports fan and like you're kind of just used to the idea of people beating the crap out of each other, but like Chuck Tito 3 is basically just how normal people see combat sports. Like, period.
Oh man, like you know what? I can't. We'll get to it eventually. But we'll put Chuck and Tito on the back burner for now. I will say, after Tito did the grave dig, I was like, you need to make the grave bigger so both of you can jump. But we'll get to that in a few. News and notes for the week. I mean, aside from like the fights, it hasn't been the busiest MMA week, but still a few notable fights and other news worth mentioning. So probably the big one that broke yesterday, at least at the time of this recording, Anderson Silva coming back, UFC 234, February 9th. He will be fighting Israel Adesanya. Apparently, we're just feeding the old people to the lions. Like, that's just the thing now.
That's the business.
Yeah,
There's only so many resources in this game, my man. So the young must feed on the carcasses of the old to sustain themselves.
What really bothered me when I was like reading people's thoughts and like reactions to this headline, like people were saying like, "Oh, this is a passing of the torch," and I'm like, "No, this is not a passing of the torch. Anderson doesn't have the torch anymore."
This Anderson Silva getting mugged at like a gas station at like 4 a.m. Basically.
Like, there is no torch. Like, you can't pass the torch if you don't have it. He was trying to get the torch back, and he never quite made it back to get the torch. And now he's really not about to get the torch.
Yeah. I mean, I hope y'all ready for like 15 minutes of Israel Adesanya just picking apart Anderson Silva. Like, I don't think he finishes him because I don't think Anderson Silva is going to give him the looks that he's going to need to finish him. But he's going to make him look silly.
There was like a small part of me that thought like maybe he can steal a round.
I mean, it's possible.
Or maybe I don't know. And it's not that Anderson is. I mean, all right, he's obviously not Anderson of old. Obviously, if you've seen his last few fights, he's still in, but he's just slower. And the way like a lot of his game works is a lot based on like reaction time, like fast twitch motions, being able to get out of the way real quick and fire back real quick. So like Anderson without his speed is like, you know,
just a competent kickboxer.
Yeah, basically. And
Anderson's not like Tito and Chuck or like whatever is left of what's his face like Chael Sonnen or whatever. Like he's still legitimately like a top 10 middleweight. It's just that like there's a point in the top 10 where like you're having highly competitive fights with Derek Brunson, and then you're just blowing him out the water.
Yeah. I think the only part of this gives me hope that Anderson will at least put on a halfway decent performance is that at least we know with Adesanya, he's not spamming takedowns. And so Anderson pretty much knows going into this fight, barring Adesanya just does something crazy, he'll at least be in his comfort zone. He's going to be with somebody who's literally they're just going to stand and strike. Nobody spamming takedowns. I don't think that's going to be a thing. So at least he'll be comfortable in there up until he possibly eats right hand or.
See, just because you said that, I'm gonna go. Adesanya by Imanari roll into like a heel.
I don't know. People were saying this is worse than Chuck Tito. You guys are crazy. There's nothing worse than Chuck and Tito. There's nothing worse, which we'll get to in a minute. But I worry. I don't want to see Anderson get styled on, and I'm afraid that might happen.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah. But
Oh, and props to Anderson for taking the fight.
We'll get to that fight when we get to it.
Yeah. Shouts to Anderson for taking the fight because he really doesn't need to at this point. Like he probably could have held out for, an old person fight. Someone more his speed. But hell, if he held out long enough, he might have actually gotten the Conor McGregor fight.
Which, I don't know.
Because I'm
but
Conor's,
well,
oh god.
Oh yeah, so the Conor fight. I don't even understand how that would have even came to be. Like,
yeah, Conor weight at the most we've ever seen him is like 167.
Yeah, and I don't think Anderson, especially at like 40, whatever age he is, he's not cutting down to like 170. So I don't understand how that fight even would have.
Conor weighs in like his like 3-piece suit.
Even would have happened.
So he goes up to like 171.
They probably have to let him wear shoes.
He could be like Roy Nelson.
There you go. You gotta have the shoes on. But we'll keep an eye on that fight. That'll be a thing. There's still time one of them can pull out. That's my only hope. But moving on down the news list, the only other fight announcement or at least UFC wise that I wrote down, Randy Brown versus Chance Recounter at UFC Brooklyn. Moving on to other UFC news that not fight related, UFC is planning to open a multi-million-dollar performance institute in Shanghai over in China. The institute, from what I read, is going to be really, really big. I can't remember the measurements, but they said it's going to be about 3 times as large as the one in Vegas. And it will pretty much act as a training hub to develop and support athletes from China and pretty much the entire like Asia Pacific region. So
I hope those people I hope those people got money, because as far as I know, Asia's not like Europe where like you have a passport or you have a citizenship and you can just cross country lines willy-nilly. Like if you're somebody from the Philippines, you got to pay your own way, like visa and everything, to go to China and just go train in Shanghai, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world. So
I don't know. But, I mean,
it's cool.
Yeah, I like it in the sense that I guess, if anything, it shows that they're definitely serious about, I guess, trying to break into that market and really tap into that. So that's cool on that front. And I would hope, as big as they're making this institute seem, I hope it works out, because I didn't, I don't know what the exact figure amount, but to spend that much money, you definitely want to get return on investment. So I hope it pans out. But I think it's a good thing if it does work out because it means that at best we'll get more Asian prospects. Hopefully, like the quality of fighters over there will increase. You would think. You would hope.
Right.
If all pans out. But no. Good on UFC. I like the move. I hope it works out. And I think that's dope for those fighters over there. Now you have just another place you can go to kind of, hone in on your skills and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's still funny to me because there's only like 10 Chinese fighters in the UFC.
hey man, those 10, 6 of those 10 did really good. So I don't know. Maybe it'll just influence other people to give it a try. Maybe other. I mean, I'm not really sure what like the Chinese like athlete scene really looks like, but maybe they're
Like I'm curious what it looks like on a random Monday morning, like 3 months from now, where like, okay, are all the fighters from like the UFC fighters from Asia just like congregating there, or is it just empty, or is it just like a bunch of like rich hobbyists who are like, hey, I heard you opened a fancy UFC gym here. Can I join?
Oh man, well, we'll see. I hope it turns out to be legit. It better be, because that's a lot of money potentially down the drain if it doesn't pan out.
I mean, it's not the UFC's money, so
Somebody won't be happy.
Air China is sponsoring him, so I assume, like, I don't think they really care. Well, they probably care in so much as they want an Asian champion to be in like the commercials and stuff. Be like, you can fly Air China. And then they have a little scene where he has to put the belt, or she has to put the belt in the overhead compartment.
It's all a commercial ploy.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming they get like exclusive sponsorship rights like right out the gate if they ever manage to get a champion.
We'll see. We'll see. But that's pretty well. There's one other piece of UFC news, but I'll save that story for last. Moving on to Bellator, they got a few big fights going on and other signees. So at Bellator 214, we'll have Gegard Mousasi defending his middleweight title versus Rafael Lovato Jr. Bellator 212, we got Sam Cecilia facing off against Derek Campos. Bellator 210, we have Joe Warren versus Sean Bunch. Also, Gerald Harris versus Horacio Darpinian, if I'm saying that correct. A quick note on Bellator 210, and we recently, like, literally just talked about this right before recording. Bellator 210 is a really good card, but the ordering of the card, if it's the way we saw it, is very puzzling. Like, I'm not the biggest Joe Warren fan, but Joe Warren's on a prelim, and that's it's not like this card is so stacked that Joe Warren wasn't worthy of being on the main card.
Yeah, like I said, like David Rickles is the co-main event, and I can't remember who he's fighting, but like, you telling me welterweight lightweight championship anytime soon? Oh, and it's like it's a tournament bout or anything, so like, I don't get that. Like, here are the names that are on the prelims for this card. Like, Rachel is a prelim fight. Mike Shipman is a prelim fight. Chris Honeycutt is on a prelim fight. Like, it feels like you could have split. Joe Schilling is on a prelim fight. It feels Gerald Harris. Like, it feels like you could have easily just stuck them on the card that was happening the next day that literally has nobody on it that anybody cares about. But Bellator decided that no, we need to have Daniel Weichel fighting in Oklahoma instead of Italy. Because of reasons.
Reasons unknown. Yeah, but Bellator they can never quite get it all together. They'll have a nice like streak couple weeks where it's like, man, I really like what they're doing, and then they.
Well, it's like they do something you like they put on a really good card, which 210 really is, but then they're like, okay, we need to have Chidi and Jaquani and John Sulzer headline, or lightweight contenders like waste away in the prelims.
Yeah.
Like all respect in the world to Chidi and Jaquani, like even if he does beat Sulzer, and that makes him next in line to fight like the winner of Gegard Lovato, which is probably going to be Gegard, but like I'm not more hyped for that fight. And I know he's been different since he moved to 185, but like Chidi has been some really bad fights, like some really dull clunkers. So why is he headlining? And I get that the replacement had him fighting Manho first, but like I feel like you could easily switch this one out.
Well, we'll see. Maybe they got some master plan. I doubt it, but.
I mean, that's what all the fighters say about Coker. Like he has this master plan, and we're all a part of it. I'm like, yeah, there's no way you are a part of this plan, my guy. Like, there's a reason he spent $500,000 on signing like Gegard Mousasi, and you're over here, you know, you're making 2 and 2.
I'm about to say this is the longest master plan that I've ever seen, if it is one.
Yeah, it's going on like 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you hope that the zone thing works out for them so they actually make money. And Viacom's not like, we should totally get rid of this one department.
Oh boy, tape delays in 2018.
I mean,
the nerve.
Like you have the freaking streaming service, guys. Like did freaking Mike Goldberg and Big John McCarthy just not want to go into a booth at like 4:00 in the afternoon U.S. time? Were they just like, no, we only record at 9:00, damn it. And that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but you know, but Bellator going Bellator. But last bit of news for them. I will give them props at least, you know, for signing. They're making an effort to reach out and sign new talent. So they have 2 new signings as of recent. They signed 2014 IBJJF World No-Gi Champion AJ Agasarm, if I'm saying that correct. And they also signed 4th Dan Taekwondo black belt and former member of the U.S. Olympic team, Valerie Lareda. So, you know, keep an eye on that, see how they progress. Outside of Bellator, over in PFL, Kayla Harrison will be returning against Moriel Charneski at PFL 11. And in boxing news, all signs are pointing towards Terrence Crawford's next fight will be against Luis Collazo. And it's looking like that'll go down March 23rd of next year. So that'll be a thing.
I'm sorry, but real quick. So, like, do you know the Lopez family?
Mm-hmm.
Or the Lopez family are the people who was at Taekwondo at the Olympics for like years, and like if it's old now, goddamn. He was the he's like an Olympian. He's won twice. I just found out he got banned from Safe Sport, which out of here in the U.S. Not the government, but the Center for Safe Sport, which is where like the U.S. Taekwondo team trains, I guess, for sexual misconduct with a minor.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy. Because my thought process was like obviously like signed one Taekwondo person, but they didn't get the other ones, like the ones that were actually famous, and now I know why.
Yeah, can't have that looming around.
I mean, they signed War.
Oh yeah, that was. Man,
that was a Bjorn era decision, but like,
didn't they use like his jail thing as promo?
Well, they included the jail, like the cell clang. So like he was speaking, and then all you hear is like a cell clang in the background. It was supposed to be like badass. It was back when they used to do like the tough Russian voiceover guy in the promos, like old school like wrestling tactics.
Where's Bjorn now? What is he doing?
He was doing the AAA, MMA, AFFA, whatever business, but like that sizzled out because people realized Bjorn was involved.
Oh boy.
Now I'm assuming he's just sitting back, relaxing, counting his severance checks from Bellator. Viacom being like, y'all stole my baby.
I'll say if he manages money well, I feel like he should be okay. He ran the Bellator ship for a pretty long time.
I'll never get over reading like the Bellator proposal, like they send out to investors where they were like, yeah, we're gonna make $100 million a pay-per-view a year. Just give us 3 years, and we're like 7 years later, and like Bellator can't even scrap together a pay-per-view that does like 200,000 buys.
Yeah, Bjorn, I don't know. I don't know.
It was a different time back then. You could throw shit on you could throw shit against the wall and sell 300,000 pay-per-views, but still, that's insane.
Times have changed now. People aren't
People are very savvy.
Yeah. Can't pull those shenanigans off anymore.
They know what they want, and they want memes, bro. Nothing but memes.
Yeah. I wonder how Bjorn felt about Tito and Chuck 3.
He's probably mad he could have fucking
Because that definitely is a fight that could have happened in Bellator back in like 2014.
Dude, that's a fight that could have been Bellator this past year. I legit think the only reason it didn't happen in Bellator is because one, Chuck is probably somewhat loyal to Dana, and two, Dada Kimbo probably was like, okay, if we put Chuck in the cage and he dies like 3 months later, we're never going to hear the end of it.
Yeah.
So,
well, boy.
We'll save it for we talk about the fight.
Yeah. So much. But segueing from one bad story to another. So if you haven't heard by now, and I actually just clicked on a recent article of this Rachel Ostovich situation. So originally when the Rachel Ostovich story broke, I think her boyfriend Arnold Burden was being charged with murder. So the headline I'm just reading, this is from MMAfighting.com.
Attempted murder.
Well, they have it. The headline is Arnold Burden released on $75K bond after alleged attack on Rachel. Charges reclassified as a second-degree assault, which is a felony.
Yes.
In Hawaii. Because the charge was recently like murder, so it's been reclassified. But for those who don't know, I guess this happened Sunday morning in their home. The details are still kind of murky because I don't know like what led up to anything, but like pretty much the only details that are out is Arnold, for whatever reason, just started hitting her. Like she had bruises. Apparently she was bleeding. Yeah, like it was bad. It was really bad. And apparently
bad enough that his original charges was
attempted murder. Right. So that can give you an idea of how bad it was. And apparently he has I think I read, I don't know if it was in this article or another one. But yeah, this one says this isn't the first time. In May 6th, he had an incident where it says he allegedly punched her legs, leaving bruises. So apparently he's been wilding out for a while, and I guess we're just kind of just now finding out about it. Rachel's quote says, Burden repeatedly punched her on the head, face, ribs, making me fall to the ground. Said she coughed up blood. She had a cracked orbital bone. So it was terrible. Says also that she filed for a temporary restraining order Okay, it was granted earlier this week. The temporary restraining order also includes the 5-year-old daughter they have together. Together, the order says Burden is not able to legally get within 100 feet of Ostovich or his daughter until May 18th, 2009. So I'm going to assume, I guess, maybe that'll be around like when the court case happens or whatever. But yeah. So I mean, needless to say, the fight she had with Van Zant is definitely not happening, and this is just this is just kind of trash. Like this is just ugh. I don't never really know what to say in things like because it's just kind of like I just saw this headline and it was like what like when I saw the first headline that broke I didn't know it was like domestic violence like I thought it was just like because the headline had just said something like UFC fighter Rachel Ostovich has been attacked. So I was just like, oh, like, did she get into like an altercation? Like, maybe she was out and about and got like an argument with somebody. Was it some like that? But yeah, then it comes out that it's her boyfriend, who's also an MMA fighter. Thought it was funny he got knocked out by Tyson. Damn, that made me chuckle. Um, but yeah, so he's just apparently just been trash this whole time. So yeah,
Remember when Dana said a couple months ago that he's thinking about bringing Greg Hardy to the USA?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah.
You make of that what you will. But just well wishes to Rachel. I hope even with this restraining order that she can stay safe because some people don't care about restraining orders. Like
I mean, if you're the type of person who wiles out to the point where somebody can get needs a restraining order against you, I'm assuming that you don't. Yeah, you're like the type of person who just does not give a fuck.
Yeah. So hopefully she's able to stay safe. I'd imagine hopefully we'll hear about a court case or something coming up soon. But just well wishes to her. Well wishes to the kid too. That's a rough thing to see. 'Cause I think the kid's like 5.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild to see something like that at 5 years old. Like that kid is probably gonna be like scarred for like life. Like that's probably really gonna mess you up. But yeah, man, just well wishes to Rachel. Hopefully she recovers. Okay. Hopefully she's just able to get back on track. That's kind of like a traumatic, and especially now that you see, 'cause it seems like it's a pattern. That's something that has been going on for a while. Like, hopefully she can just mentally get back on track. Forget like fighting and all of that. Just as a normal person, just trying to get through life. Like, hopefully she can just find a way to get back on track and find some way to push forward.
Right.
But that's sad, and I don't want to talk about the sad stuff anymore. So
That's tough. Do you know what day we're talking about? We're in the afterglow of Tito Ortiz Chuck Liddell 3.
can I talk about one thing happy first before we get to that? one happy thing. Okay. I didn't say happy. It's just...
I know where you can get some great car insurance. Shouts to Fred Loya.
They got sponsor of the year. One happy thing real quick before we move on to whatever. I gotta give a quick mention to One Championship. They had a card early bright and early Friday. I think it was Friday morning. One Championship 85. This marked the return of Brandon Vera, who had been out for like 2 years, something like that. He's been MIA for a while. He hasn't.
The funniest thing about Brandon Vera being MIA is that he spent his entire 2 years talking about how great One FC is. I'm sorry, One Championship is, how they respect fighters, and he hasn't fought in like 2 years.
Well, apparently he was in a movie. Whatever this, an action movie called Buy Bust. Oh, it's the biggest movie in the Philippines. So apparently he's a movie star over there now. So I don't know. Guess he's on to other things. But either way, he came back from a pretty much like a 2-year hiatus. He fought Mauro Cirilli, who I want to say was a champion in like want to say Cage Warriors. I don't know if it's Cage Warriors. He was a champion in some other organization. But either way, Brandon Vera shut his lights out within a round. They had a few exchanges. Morrow tried to rush him. Vera caught him with a left hook. And just you saw Cerulli's eyes do that look into the air where he had no idea what was going on. And that was pretty much it. So props to Vera. Comes back from a 2-year layoff. Ends the fight within a round. So shout out to him. Also on that card, the vacant lightweight title was claimed. Edward Folayang had his lightweight title fight. Well, I can't say his. It wasn't his belt, but vacant title fight between him and Amir Khan. It was a really good fight. Folayang kind of poured it on him though. He was really out there getting it, man. He was really, really pouring it on Amir. And Khan's had a really good streak as of late. But Edward Folayang had a really good performance, so he is now the 2-time lightweight champion over at 1. So congrats to him. Also on that card, Onario Benario finds himself back in the win column. He got a decision win over Dae-Sung Park. And LFA alumni James Nakashima made his way over to 1 championship. He's still undefeated now at 10-0 after getting a unanimous decision. He's fighting at middleweight. He fought Raymond Magomed Dali. So shout outs to Nakashima. Normally a lot of the LFA guys end up in the UFC, but he made his way over to 1. So shout outs to him for staying undefeated. All right. I've been trying to stall on Chuck Tito 3, but I don't have anything else. So to just go right into it, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Golden Boy MMA. This card went down last night in Inglewood, California. So I can't mention before we get to Chuck and Tito, some other fights that happened on this card that maybe you guys might not care about. I didn't watch any of these minus the main event. But Deron Wynn, who, from what I understand, trains with Cormier, he got a unanimous decision over Tom Lawler. Gleison Tibau won his first fight in I forgot how many years, but he defeated Efrain Escudero via unanimous decision. Ricardo Palios put the pause on Willil Watson, KO'd him. Jay Silva defeated Oscar Cota via submission, and James Barnes defeated Albert Morales via armbar. So that was the main card, and okay, I guess we can get to this main event. Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz. Did you see did you watch the intros?
Oh yeah, I watched them walk out.
Oh man.
Well, Walker's a very, very I don't feel it's appropriate for how Chuck Liddell maneuvered his way to the cage. It was more like waddled. He waddled his way to the cage.
He looked like he was in pain the entire time.
And he probably was.
Yeah. Like this walk to the cage was like the most exercise he had done outside of hitting the pads in that workout. And it looked painful. I knew this fight was going to be terrible when I heard just the entrance music. This was just a recipe for disaster from the jump.
Before we get into the actual fight proper, so the setup of the forum, from the shade of blue to the sponsors to the fact that when the hard camera for the entrance, there was nobody sitting near the fighters as they walked out, so the place just looked constantly empty. The fact that they really went old school and made it look like a 10, 12-year-old UFC event and just had a really dark, gringy looking backdrop and everything. Perfect.
Yeah, they took us back to 2003. And they tried to make us feel good by having Chuck wear his patented, blue shorts. And Tito was out there with his fire shorts. They tried really hard
They did the best.
Yeah, they tried to give us that nostalgia.
And that's what makes it sad.
Yeah, they tried. So as for the fight itself, if you can call it that,
It was basically just Tito working up the courage to throw his right.
it looked like this.
Chuck Liddell was just like constantly falling down. He wasn't just like circling. If he stopped moving his feet, he would just falling over.
This might have been the first time in history that I'm not saying I was rooting for Tito, but after about 30 seconds, like, Tito, if you don't finish this fight, because listen, man, like, when I watch fights, you know, I'm very big on, like, watching people's, like, body language and but body language tells you a lot. Like, movement can tell you a lot. And movement and body language in this fight was telling me that, one, Tito I guess because Tito fought recently, I thought he was going to look a little more, what's the word, like, lively. But he looked really old, too. Just not as old as Chuck. Chuck looked like he had one foot in the grave. This fight was like your two uncles who got in a fight at the barbecue. And this was the result. And just when Chuck would throw, I guess those were punches. I don't know. But
Damn.
When
Chuck legit threw like 3 punches this whole fight, and he fell down on the very first one he threw.
When Chuck would throw whatever those were, it looked really just painful and stiff and slow.
Mind you, Chuck has never been a very fluid guy. He's always kind of looked stiff,
but this was extra. This
next level shit, bro.
Yeah, this like it looked like, what was that Adam Sandler movie when he had the remote controller?
Click.
Yeah, this is like somebody just pressed the slow motion feature and just times like 5, and they just let it run the entire fight. Because I didn't understand, like, I don't know if Tito had PTSD from the old knockouts.
I'm assuming that's what it was. Like,
he was so tentative. But, like, if you just looked at the way they moved, it was clear to see, like, they're both old, but looking at body movement, I can tell who's at least fought recently and who has no business putting on gloves, walking down here, just. And I was just looking at T like, dude, just if you rush him one time, it's over.
Like,
but
can I just come out and say something? Tito Ortiz is still a good fighter. like I'm not. Dude's not gonna go and like win the belt. Well, he might, but he's not gonna go and just win the Bellator Heavyweight Grand Prix or like storm his way up to like the Baron UFC like heavyweight division. But like, you'd struggle to find a dude on the U.S. regional circuit who's 205 who could beat Tito Ortiz, even in his current form. You know what I mean?
He's still competent. He's still.
Yes, absolutely.
It's kind of like the Anderson effect. Like he still does what he normally does. He's just not
very.
The speed and the explosion and all that just isn't really there anymore.
Right. Like,
but
Tito can still wrestle. Like, he beat Chael Sonnen, who beat what's his face, Rampage, and Rampage is still a competent 205er.
Yeah,
he's still a competent fighter. That's how I'll put it.
Yeah.
Chuck Liddell is not.
Mm.
Chuck Liddell looks like he should be in a senior citizens home. I've seen people with walkers who move better than Chuck Liddell was last night.
I'm pretty sure before this fight he was at the home and they had to wake him up. He just looked so stiff and lost, and oh man, it did not look good. I don't even know if they had any real exchanges before the KO. I just remember Chuck throwing out a paw that I guess was supposed to be a punch a couple times. And finally, when Tito just decided to pull the trigger, boy, when Chuck fell from that right hand, I immediately was like, I am a terrible person for watching this. Like,
My response to that is he's a terrible person for subjecting us to it.
yeah. I didn't have the support. All right, I didn't support it because I definitely didn't pay for this.
If you paid for this, I got a bridge I can sell you, bro.
You're almost an accessory to murder.
You're like, I feel like we should be. If you paid, you should be tried for something if you paid for this. Like, it's the closest thing to like, I don't even know, like, friggin' like betting on children fighting. Like,
Yeah, remember that story we did a while back where there was like the toddler fight club?
Yes.
This is just the opposite. This is
Throw down at the old photo.
This is the senior citizen brawl for all. Yeah.
Everything about this card was a shit show. From Oscar De La Hoya's awkward ass press conference where he obviously has zero idea who Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz are. He's just up there at the freaking dais just rubbing his hands for 10 minutes. Tito Ortiz just constant misuse of the English language. Like, in the lead up to this fight, Chuck freaking Liddell, who struggles to put together full coherent sentences, was the only one. He was the best promoter they had. It's insane.
I say if Chuck is your best promoter,
He was the best talker.
if Chuck is your best promoter and talker at 48 years old, it's an issue, buddy. It's not good. But yeah, Tito gave him a right hand. When Chuck just that slow descent to death was just, I was just like, why did I do? Why? What? I need to repent. I need to be better. I need to not give in. I need to not give in to these train wrecks. Like, I felt like I crossed the line that I wasn't supposed to step across. Like, but I thought Bellator had like prepared me for all of the worst. Like, Bellator had a lot of train wrecks. Pride back in the day had a lot of freak fights and wildness going on, but I wasn't ready.
Like, so it's time to start pointing fingers, and I don't think you can point to a bigger one than the California State Athletic Commission. Like, who for years have been claiming to lead the way in like fighter safety. Like, they've been the ones at the forefront, at least here in the U.S., about like, okay, we're gonna do like weigh-ins, like day of weigh-ins and like dehydration rules, and if you miss weight, you're not allowed to fight at that weight class the next time you're in California unless you can prove that you can make the weight or whatever. And like the thing with marijuana where they upped the legal amount that was allowed to be in your system. How the hell did Chuck get licensed? David Bixenspan on Twitter put it best. Like, if you saw Chuck Liddell walking down the freaking street, you would assume that like a dementia patient got loose from like the hospital, and you would immediately call somebody to have them pick him up. Like, and they let this man fight.
Somebody slid a duffel bag somewhere, and they just told them, hey man, just look the other way.
Like, Golden Boy doesn't even have money like that. That's the thing. Like, all of their money comes from Canelo. He drives 108% of their revenue. That is a real statistic that comes from Golden Boy MMA. Or, I'm sorry, Golden Boy Boxing. Like, like I don't think Oscar would have gotten in his bag to just be like, hey, I want to put Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz on, and I think he's gonna make all this money. So, let's get this shit done. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, at least we know Chuck has good insurance.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I wonder how many calls that insurance company got that night.
Fred Loya joins the pantheon of great MMA sponsors such as Dude Wipes and Condom Depot.
And corn nuts.
And corn nuts.
Oh boy. Yeah. That rest in peace, Chuck Liddell. I don't know what else to say.
He's according to Chuck Liddell, he still fights at a high level. Cognitive dissonance or brain damage. Pick your poison. According to Tito, he still wants to see Chuck Liddell fight. And I'm just like, God, you really hate Chuck.
Yeah, Tito, just stop. Just now that it's over, we all gotta calm down. We all gotta
Shamrock versus Chuck.
Mm.
Bare knuckle boxing.
I'm really mad at myself that I drew the line at bare knuckle boxing, but I watched this. And this was so much worse.
See where your morals get you?
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, pretending you're so much above the rest of us, and then you subject yourself to this.
I have to that's what I said. After this fight, I had to do some soul search, and I have to reconfigure my moral compass. I have to reconfigure where I stand as a person, and I gotta take a hard look at myself, and then just I gotta figure things out. I can't.
All I can say is welcome to the gutter, my friend.
Jesus Christ.
Also, like continuing in the theme of just straight up train wreck. We could talk about Chuck bringing his children to the fight. We could talk how backstage looked like everybody was just sitting around waiting at the airport. We could talk about how Tito got on the microphone after the fight and was just like, you if you want to make real money, you want to get paid the right way, go to Golden Boy MMA, and like the guys who opened up the pay-per-view made like $5,000 each. Or the fact that like Tito probably got paid more in Bellator than he did fighting for Oscar.
Well, I think they put out the price. He made 200.
200. He either made 200 or 250,000.
Yeah.
And he's going to get like pay-per-view revenue and live gate revenue, but like I'm pretty sure he got like $500,000 from one of his Bellator fights. I can't remember which one. It might have been like the Bonner fight or something. I'm
really interested to see what these pay-per-view numbers.
these fight.tv numbers.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say they're not good because they tried to lower the price like 3 different times and they couldn't because they had a contract with the cable companies, the pay-per-view providers. Like, how did they not know that wasn't allowed? Like, I thought they're like, oh, okay, they got a deal where like, okay, we'll sell them for $20 on Fight.tv, and we'll give them half of our cut of that, the $20. It was like, no, you're just not allowed to freaking do that. Oscar's a pay-per-view promoter. He does it all the damn time. Like, how does he not know that's not allowed?
The first company to ever retract a Black Friday sale.
I saw some people, they were getting it for like $15. I have no idea why. Unless they were just reading their screens wrong or something.
No, I wouldn't doubt that. Like, they're gonna get sued by whoever who told them no, and maybe like, I don't know. They probably still gave it as a discount for some people, just to. Who knows? Who knows?
To move these numbers.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, they got like between 7,000 and 8,000 people in the forum, which isn't bad. Probably not what they wanted for what they paid, but I heard the gate's like $600,000, which again is not bad. But if you're gonna pay, well, yeah, if you're gonna pay like, almost $500,000 off the top, you probably want $1 million.
I guess last question before we move on to happier things. After, well, I don't know, because you didn't watch the entire. Neither one of us, I don't think, watched the entire card.
Because I'm not like. It's not even that I thought the first 5 fights on this card were like not worth watching or whatever. It's just like, dude, like you're watching these in service of like being sad.
Right. I was gonna say that. Well, based off what we did see and what we know, do we think there's gonna be a golden MMA 2?
It all depends on the numbers, and if all the indicators look like no, then like no, we're never Oscar's washing his hands of MMA, especially now that he's got that DAZN money.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for the better of humanity, we probably shouldn't get a.
I mean, Vitor Belfort is a free agent now, so we could do Vitor Chuck if we really want to.
Boy.
See, Vitor is also still a good fighter. In that same vein of Tito Ortiz. we can do Vitor Chuck. We can do who else? Who else is? We can do Shamrock Vitor.
Golden Boy. Maybe it'll last long enough that I can finally get my trilogy closure of Shogun and Machida.
See, I think the reason that Golden Boy got this fight is they were just comfortable. Like Oscar was comfortable trying to sell Tito Ortiz as like a Mexican, which is like that's his whole business model. I don't know if he can do it with like Brazilian dudes. Because that's who he's marketing to, like his fans, like the people who made him a pay-per-view star.
Well, I don't know.
Which is just Mexican American people, which I don't think Tito Ortiz really resonates with. He can bring his Mexican American flag everywhere he goes, but I don't think he's going to resonate with those people.
I'm sure they hear one Tito sentence, they're out the door.
Yeah.
It's not the guy you want repping for the culture. Yeah, I don't know if we need another Golden Boy MMA. We can let this be a flash in the pan, and then
we totally deserve it for indulging.
Yeah, this is the MMA gods enacting a punishment.
On Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell and us. Liddell got punished. Obviously, we got punished because we mindlessly indulge and we never think about what we're doing. And this was a reminder of
this shit is for real.
Yeah. we can't do things like this.
I mean, we can.
Or you can, but
you're going to feel that pain.
Yeah, you have to have one of them life. You have to have one of those life moments after where you really just have to question yourself, and you have to look deep into your soul and ask yourself, what kind of person am I?
And then you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm this type of person, and then you hit that buy button.
Oh, man.
So, before we move off this fight completely, I just want to shout out all the people who thought Chuck was going to go out there and knock Tito out. Based purely on the fact that Chuck had done it twice before.
I had that hope in the back of my head, but boy, after seeing that pad video, I knew that was a wrap.
Well, even if, here's the thing, even if you were right, why would you want that end? Because all you're going to get is a Chuck Liddell who's like, I can still fucking do this. Because he lost, and he was like, I can still do this.
And then he would have tried to fight Rampage.
Oh, no, he would have tried to fight Jones. Because that's who he wants. Because he thinks he's still at that level.
Oh, boy.
He called out John Jones last year.
He did. I just wanted to ignore it and act like it wasn't a thing.
I mean, I'm down for Rampage Chuck 3. If we're going to do all the needless trilogies.
Nah, I guess in the end I should be thanking Tito for this. Hopefully, when Chuck woke up this morning, he realized, you know.
No, Chuck, he never went to sleep. He got back to his dressing room and was just like, okay, time to get ready for the fight.
Oh man, but God, yeah.
Shame on you, California State Athletic Commission. I expect this from Texas. They let Kimbo get licensed, despite having a terrible heart condition issue. But California, really? It's supposed to be better than this.
Shame on them. Shame on us. I don't know.
I refuse to accept any shame for this. One, because I didn't pay. And two, because Chuck did this to us. And it's his fault. And he had to suffer the consequences.
And that he did.
I'm not sure if he remembers them, though.
Nah. After we record, I'm gonna go pray. I gotta pray for me. I gotta pray for all of us. But moving on to other good happenings and good fights that happened. UFC Beijing went down very early at like 3:30 in the morning on Saturday. But I want to say before we even get started on this card, this was one of those cards that really did make me appreciate Fight Pass. Like, even though it was really early in the morning, I had to get up at work at 5, so I got a chance to catch some of this in real time. But it was just a good feeling knowing that even the fights I missed, like when I get off, I can just log on to Fight Pass and I can just go back and I can just watch them, and I don't have to wait till 10 o'clock, and it's not a 6-fight main card. So I appreciated Fight Pass for this card. It was very convenient. But starting from the top, main event: Francis Ngannou, Curtis Blaydes. A lot of hype for this fight. Curtis Blaydes has been on a pretty great streak of just wrecking dudes. Ngannou, on the other hand, he's hit a little skid. Questions about his confidence and all of that going into this fight, wondering just like what Ngannou are we going to get? How's his mental state going to be? And for Blaydes, it's a way to avenge his only loss. And it didn't take us long to figure out what happened. Fight only lasted 45 seconds. When I saw Ngannou throwing kicks and like bouncing around, just seeing movement and life out of Ngannou, I was like, oh, this Blaydes might need to be careful. And there was a moment where like Blaydes would like feint a jab or throw a jab and try to get a takedown. Wasn't able to get like the first one he shot for. And I was like, oh, we might be in for one. This might be a doozy. And Blaydes throws a jab, and I want to say he was facing like Ngannou's power hand, his right hand. Caught a right hand over the top. That fall that he did, I knew it was over. Like it looked like everything left his body. Like he fell to the ground. He tried to get back up. He was eating shots. I saw people complain about the stoppage, but to me it looked like his body just kind of went into cruise control. Like I'm doing the motions that I need to do, but I'm not all the way there. And I mean, it looked like he recovered fast, but in the moment that the fight got stopped, I can't complain. Like Ngannou caught him with the right hand. He fell on all fours. He like got back up, kind of, sort of, ate a few more shots, fell down again. He was like reaching for a leg. It was just, I think had that fight went any longer, it might have just gotten worse. Like I don't, and I can see some people, whatever, maybe it could have went a few seconds longer. But I think if it went out longer, he just would have caught more punishment. But I get it as a fighter, you want to go out on the shield, so to speak. But I have no complaints about the stoppage. It didn't look like it in that moment that it got stopped that he was really like all the way really there. But great win for Ngannou, man. And I posted right before this fight started that I wasn't sure if it was gonna happen, but Ngannou winning this fight wasn't far fetched. Like I get it, he's had two, questionable performances, but bad performance doesn't mean I still can't knock your head off. Bad performance doesn't mean I still don't have power, and if I land, you're out of here. He only needs one, and he got that one followed up by a few others, and excuse me, that was pretty much all she wrote. So when Ngannou gets back in the win column, it's got to really suck for Curtis Blaydes. You're on this really nice streak, and you're trying to come back and avenge your only loss, and it just does not go your way at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's the game, bro. That's the game. Yeah. So just like thinking about it in like hindsight now, wearing the strike was probably not the best thing that Curtis Blaydes could have done to prepare for this fight. He was a lot more aggressive than he was in the first fight. So the first fight was basically just him eating all the jabs that Ngannou threw his way and not really, having a method to close distance. Here he tries to close distance and ends up getting countered, which is basically all Ngannou wants to do. He wants to counter. So from that standpoint, it was just your growth and the be playing into the other person's hand a little bit more than in your first fight. Yeah, no, like I picked Blaydes to win this fight because I figured he's grown so much, he's gonna be able to, and he's shown it. He's able to mix up the striking and the takedowns, and when you commit to punches, he's able to exploit that. He took Reem down like that. He took Mark Hunt down like that. I figured he'd do like a little bit what Stipe did, but he doesn't have the acumen, I guess, that Stipe does. Stipe was able to outbox Ngannou for a good portions of the fight where he wasn't just taking him down, just beating the crap out of him. So, just solid performance from Ngannou, who did look more aggressive. Like, he still got the counter knockout here, but he didn't look scared to throw like he did against Derek Lewis.
Yeah, he was alert.
He was alert. He threw that leg kick. And took the center of the octagon, which he always does, but it was more assertive, as opposed to just like, I'm big, so I'm going to be standing here. So props to him. Bounces back, puts his name back out there. I don't know what they do with him. I don't really know what's happening with the top of heavyweight right now. They want to do Jones 3 because Lesnar just re-signed with the WWE, and they're not sure what the timetable would be for him to come back. But yeah, just a bunch of funkiness going up at the top of heavyweight.
Yeah, well, Ngannou. Oh, go ahead.
No, just real quick on Blaydes. I'm not gonna say Blaydes is done as a fighter, because one, he's just as young in his career as Ngannou is, and I'm hesitant to call this a bad stylistic matchup for him, but it's a learning experience. It's not I don't think his chin got destroyed. Maybe his confidence got shaken, but I don't think his chin got destroyed. Like you said, he was alert at the end of the fight. He was just, no one's gonna let Ngannou just get those extra shots in when he doesn't need to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this loss is nothing to be ashamed of. If Ngannou hits anybody like that, I'm not gonna question your chin. If Ngannou hits anybody like that in this roster, they're going down. And I really think it was just one of those fights. Some fights you just get caught. You just get caught. Things are going good until they're not going good, and it doesn't mean you're a bad fighter. It doesn't mean you can't rebound. And like I said, as young as Curtis Blaydes is in a division full of old men, he has time very much.
He's another like 10 years of growing ahead of him.
Right.
If we're being real.
Time is on his side completely. And I'm pretty sure he'll bounce back. Whoever he faces next will probably get wrestled and pummeled to death. Yeah, man, he just got caught, man. And Ngannou was the better man that night. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll see both of these gentlemen back. Yeah, I'd be interested to see who they give Ngannou next, because like you said, the top of heavyweight is just kind of weird. But I'm pretty sure he'll be back knocking somebody's head off. I mean, he virtually took no damage this fight, so barring any injuries he may have had like coming into this fight, I don't see why we might not see him back again pretty soon.
I want to see Ngannou versus Lesnar.
Lesnar won't be re-signing with any promotions after that fight. That's
that's the one he can't go back to the WWE.
Right. That's
This is like I can't use you anymore. Like
you gotta reattach his head to his shoulders.
he just kicks him in his stomach and gets rid of the rest of his intestine.
Oh man. I don't know, maybe he re-signed with the WWE. Like maybe he met Francis in person and he was like, "Nah, we can't potentially meet down the line, so I'm gonna just go back over here."
He's like, "You are a big motherfucker."
I'm gonna let y'all have fun over here. Let me go back to doing what I was doing. But yeah, man, Francis Ngannou, he's back, taking heads off. But hope to see Curtis Blaydes again. But props to Ngannou, man. That's a huge bounce back and emphatic win. Moving on to other heavyweights, Alistair Overeem and Sergey Pavlovich. As with every Overeem fight going in, like I look at skill sets and like I want to pick Overeem and feel comfortable about it, but Overeem is just one of those guys that you can never really, never know what's gonna happen in an Overeem fight.
I still maintain Overeem's chin is fine. It's just that he has lapse in fight where he just does something really stupid, like gas himself out, trying to like knock somebody out in the first like 60 seconds of a fight, or he tries to bob and weave with Bigfoot, and then like he gets tired and then he gets knocked out because he gets hit clean as fuck. Like this is a division where like if you get hit clean, you should go down and out, and it's just Overeem just doesn't have like a super chin, so like I'm not worried about him fighting. Like I don't want to call Pavlovich a one-dimensional fighter, but he's basically just a right hand. Like he's a competent kickboxer, but he is essentially a right hand, and he was never gonna out kickbox Econo Reem, who moves around the cage like a gazelle, compared to your Roy Nelson types who. It takes them a while to cross the cage. So, yeah. I'm actually surprised at how well Pavlovich did in the clinch, because when they grab, I don't know why I have this image in my head. Maybe it's because of like seeing him do this in kickboxing and seeing him do it to Brock Lesnar, who is just a freakishly freak athlete. Every time I think of Reem like getting his hands on somebody who is in Francis Ngannou, I just think of him like manhandling them. And he's done it before. He did it with like Hunt, like recently-ish in the clinch, and but here, like Pavlovich for the most part was doing just fine. Like he wasn't getting beat up in the clinch. He did eventually get taken down because he was trying to block Reem's knees, but like it wasn't like It wasn't like Jessica Aguilar and Weili Zhang from earlier in the card. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, you just kind of caught him with a nice little trip.
Yeah.
Just kind of took him tumbling. And that was kind of another thing about this matchup is, like I said, with Overeem, you kind of never know because he does have these like lapses. But when Overeem is on, he's still like one of the most talented heavyweights like ever.
Dude is the most versatile heavyweight to ever do MMA, except for maybe like Fedor.
Yeah, like dude has like, well, we saw it in fight, but he can grapple. He's
a freaking like European Abu Dhabi trial winner. Like he legitimately is a very good grappler.
We just don't see it. I mean, we saw it in the Frank Mir fight where it was really good in that fight. He uses it here and there, but it's not too often. But when he does, it's effective. And in terms of just standing and striking, unless you can knock him out, he has way too many tools in the arsenal that you kind of don't even really want to play that game. Like it might not end well for you. And so I mean, yeah, Sergey tried to box him up. And shout outs to Overeem, who I guess after the Curtis Blaydes loss, now he's trains with him at Elevation. So
you gotta absorb how they beat you. That's how you recover.
Hey man, whatever works and gets the win. It worked. He looked pretty good. He still has some pretty good knees in the clinch, but that was a nice little slick little like trip he did to get Pavlovich down. And once he got past past Pavlovich's legs, that first ground and pound hit he landed was so hard. Like, if you just listen to that punch in real time, like, it's crazy how much like force he can generate in such like little distance. Like, there was so much force in like just that first punch, and Pavlovich definitely felt it. Started covering up, ate a few more, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was yeah. I'm glad Pavlovich got out of there because that was not going to end well. Like, he was eating some really, really, really hard shots.
Yeah, well, it's his heavyweight.
Yep.
Like, you don't want Overeem on top of you. That's not a good time. Like, as for why the UFC made this fight, it was probably because Pavlovich got them to sit down at the negotiating table, and they had to pay him probably more than what they normally have to pay if they had signed somebody from like King of the Cage or something, or LFA. So that's probably why he got Reem, just because, okay, you want all this money, well, earn it.
Yeah. Good luck. Go have fun.
Have fun with that. Yeah. No, there's not a whole bunch else to say about it.
Now the co-main and main event lasted a total of like 1 round. if you combine the times.
Basically.
Yeah. So Overeem got him out of there. Didn't take a ton of damage really. So good on him. He gets back in the win column. Lives to fight another day, and hopefully the elevation move will do him some good. Like, maybe I still want to believe, and I think it's just because like if Overeem could somehow win the title, he'd be like one of the most decorated fighters ever.
He kind of already is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he already is, but this would be like the icing on the cake. And there's a part of me that wants to believe like if he can hold out if he can stay around for a couple more years, just a couple, like, he might get another shot. I mean, he's always one punch away.
Yeah, but then he's fighting like Ngannou and Curtis Blaydes again.
Yeah. So yeah, like, I think he can make it up to the top again, just because heavyweight is heavyweight. Anything can happen. I'm never really gonna count anybody out. But yeah, like, depending on who the champ is, it might,
he might be fraught with difficulty.
Yeah. It's the road doesn't get easier. But good on Overeem, man. Really, really good performance. Pretty brutal ground and pound finish. So shout outs to him. Moving on. I was actually really excited about a lot of fights on this main card. One of the fights I was most looking forward to, Song Yadong and Vince Morales. Been pretty high on Song Yadong over at Team Alpha Male. Dude is just really explosive, really fun to watch. Had a nice elbow finish in his last fight. Comes into this Morales fight and he does the thing, man. Like he holds it down. He really. I notice this is like about a lot of the Chinese fighters on this card. They really do just a really good job of like mixing up their strikes. Like it's
Let's just
you're
sit
not
in the background, bro.
yeah you're not gonna see somebody just I'm just gonna win by throwing a 1 and a 1-2 the entire fight. Maybe I'll throw like a leg kick here and there. Like he's bringing out the arsenal. It's ones, it's 1-2s, it's spinning back kicks, it's uppercuts, it's nice combinations, and it just seemed like in this fight, and Morales did land some shots. I think statistically, I want to say at least up until like the second round. Uh, like statistically, I think strike wise they were pretty close, but it seemed like Yadong was just way more effective with what he was throwing, and Morales just seemed like he was kind of playing the counter game, but he never could get really comfortable to like initiate a game plan. It felt like he was fighting based on what Yadong was doing more than it was him like
Right.
doing his own game plan. And then as much as Song really did just a good job of mixing it up, man, he was hitting Morales with just all kinds of shots throughout the entire fight. And then in the third round, he takes it to the ground and just mixes it up even more. I mean, he didn't do anything like super crazy on the ground, but just the fact that he threw that extra wrinkle in there, like on top of these 30,000 variation of strikes that I'm gonna throw on you. Here's just one more thing you have to worry about. I'm gonna just take you down and just kind of control you for a little bit. And it just seemed like this fight kind of reminded me a lot of what was the other fight that we'll eventually get to? Not the Wei Ling. This fight kind of reminded me of the Zhao Nanyan fight, where it was just so much offense. Like the other fighter just couldn't. There was no way for you to find a groove because there was so much coming at you at one time.
Right.
And it was a lot to process. But Song Yadong continues to impress. I really like what they got going for him at Team Alpha Male. It seems like he's on the right track. I don't know what his ceiling is, but he's on the right track. Whatever his ceiling is, he's headed there, and it all seems like it's panning out.
Yeah, he's really polished for like a 20-year-old. He moves his heads, and he only has like the one head, like, for missing shot, like slipping shots. Like he slips to his right all the time, but like it's so smooth, and he does counter off it, and like it's so rare to see that in the sport. Like it's always, especially like particularly from like a 20-year-old. So like it really stands out to me. He did great work. But early Vince Morales was doing a really good job of just like not scaring him off, but like making him think with the hands. So he goes to the leg kicks, and that's what opens up the rest of his offense. And he builds on that for the rest of the fight. So Morales, I haven't seen his Dana White Contender Series fight, but apparently he lost. But he ended up getting signed because the guy he beat ended up having to go to the hospital after the fight. Is that correct?
I didn't know that was the. I didn't know that was the.
Yeah.
Story. Oh, he was supposed to fight Signs.
Yeah. Song Yadong.
Yeah, supposed to fight Signs.
So, but Vince Morales was like so. But I think they originally wanted the guy Vince Morales lost to fight Song Yadong, but he was hurt, so they signed Vince Morales anyway. But point being, like from what I heard, he was going to be a tough fight for Yadong, and it was. Like he went all 3 rounds with Yadong, and Yadong knocked out like his first 2 UFC opponents, so that's more than those guys got accomplished. Yeah, no, he's really well put together. He's just going to continue to get sharper. He did kind of gas a little towards the end there. Like he was really flat-footed. He was still able to just like plant his feet and throw, and that was enough to get Morales to back off at the end of the 3rd round. But yeah, no, all around like really great performance. So, like all the men, from the Chinese men, like he's probably the best prospect.
Yeah, I would agree. And being at that gym with all that experience they got at Alpha Mill will only help. So he's, around a lot of good people who have a lot of experience. He should only get better. One would hope. But
I hope I hope they don't guard Brand the kid.
Yeah.
Just strap a rocket to his back and like launch him or something, because there's no need to rush anybody in this division, especially since they seem content to just have the belt just hang in perpetuity forever.
Right. Yeah, you can build them up slowly along. I mean, and they'll still be, bantamweight is deep enough that even in the lower tier, like there's still good people for him to fight that'll still like test him, and you can kind of get like a litmus test to see where he's at.
Right.
But yeah, no, dude is he's really solid. He's really solid. He's been one of my favorite people to watch in the last couple of times I've seen him. Just somebody I thought was worth keeping an eye on, and he's continued to impress. Really, this whole card, this is the whole reason I wanted to watch this card. Like, there were just a lot of fighters on this card who I just wanted to keep track and keep progress of, and they all made me happy. I wish this card would have happened after Chuck Tito 3. I might have felt better. Because this card really did. I was really happy with how this card turned out. Like, everybody who I wanted to perform really well, or just wanted them to win, like, they won, and I couldn't ask for any more. Like, it was great. And then moving on to other fighters who I was rooting for and wanted to win, Li Jianlang versus David Zawada. The Leech, man. Well, it wasn't going too good for him in the first round, I'll say. He looked a little lost.
I mean, when does it ever?
But it looked, I don't know what happened in that first round, but Zawada was not playing, man. Zawada came to fight, and I don't know if the Leech was ready. Like, I don't know if it was like the hometown nervousness thing, but it's
just how he fights, man. He gets the crap beat out of him in the first round, and he storms back and knocks the other guy out.
He's got to wake up, because Zawada almost put them lights out. He caught him with a nice right flush on the chin. But the Leech has some amazing recovery, because like even after he got knocked down, he still was like aware of what was going on. Like, and then he, not too long after he got floored with the right, like he ended up taking Zawada down. He got a little bit of ground and pound going. But I think Zawada ended up swarming back on him anyway. But it was just good to see like he recovered from that really well, and it didn't look like it shook him up too much. But Zawada did really good in that first round. Like I said, he knocked him down. He caught him with a couple of flurries against the cage. He beat up on the Leech, man. He gave him some pause in that first round. End of the first round comes. They go to his corner. To paraphrase, they just asked the Leech, like, "You good, bro? Like, you all right?" Like, no technical advice, no, slip and throw the jab. No, it was like, you good, man? Like, you okay? He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And they're like, "All right, go fight then." And
I mean, you can't give a man technical advice when he's not doing anything. He was barely awake.
Yeah,
so.
His game plan is to just fight until it works.
Basically.
Yeah, and I mean, it worked. Eventually, it took a couple rounds, but second round came out. He did he was doing a little better. I think you could slowly feel like whatever happened in the first round was behind him, and like his confidence was kind of, it was slowly building up more. It was almost like, it's like you're warming up your car to start the day. Like it was like he just had to warm up and get better. So like I don't remember how I scored the second round. I remember it. I felt like it was pretty close, but it wasn't close enough to where I don't know if I felt comfortable like outright giving it to Leech. But like he was doing better, and it was like, all right, man, you really gotta, this third round you have to really make a statement, because he's not playing. He's not going away anytime soon. And then the third round comes, and it's the car finally started, engines roaring, we're out the gate, it's time to fight, and he just woke up. And he did what the Leech does, man. He brawls, he He'll throw everything at you that he can until it works. And he caught Zawada with a nice step-in side kick, completely shut him down, hit him with some ground and pound. Probably didn't need to. He covered up after the body kick. It looked like it was pretty brutal. Like he caught him right on the mark. And the Leech walks away with a TKO after the first few rounds that were kind of rough. But he's the Leech, man. He never dies. he finds a way.
Exactly. Yeah, no. The funny part was like the first, like this is every Leech fight. Like he comes out in the first round, gets his ass beat, comes back in the second round and starts fighting like he's actually there. Like you can see like the career difference too. Like he came out like a fresh fighter, which is always really weird. In the second, like he was moving his head at distance and like actually slipping punches and. Like he was like light on his feet and moving around as opposed to being heavy-footed and just like standing there waiting to get hit. So, yeah, no, like he is a really like such a really good kickboxer. And it's always weird because his name is the Leech because he used to just grab guys and hang out for dear life. Bit of a trip, but yeah, no, like. This is what you're going to get out of a Leech performance basically every single time out. And I think we're basically at his ceiling. He's just going to be a violent, middle-of-the-road welterweight for the rest of his career, which is fine, because we can always use those. But, yeah, no, like another Leech performance.
Yeah, just... Like I said, they're those cropper guys at welterweight who are just kind of fighting to get in position to make a better name, make a bigger name, and he's one of those guys.
He is literally, this is just a job. Like he's like I'm sure he has like dreams of being a UFC welterweight champion, but like it's probably never gonna happen. But he can make a nice little career for himself just knocking dudes out.
Yeah, I think the first Chinese champ is on the prelims.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I love watching the Leech fight. It's always a good time. Like I said, he had to get the car started. Took him 2 rounds to get the car started, and then when it finally got started, he came out roaring. So shout outs to the Leech, but shout outs to Zawada though. He put on a really good performance. Like things were going well until they just weren't. They just weren't going well.
Until he got kicked right in the solar plex.
Yeah. Flush, like it was right on point.
If you had told me when the Leech signed to the UFC that he'd be like side kicking KO people, I would have called you fucking insane.
He's as wild as he is in this fight. Like if you go back and watch like his first few UFC fights, he is so much more polished now. Like it's so much more just. He looks so much more comfortable in there. We just got to work on that first round. we got to find a way to get over that. But nah, man.
Early, man.
Yeah, get the car started early. But shout outs to the Leech, man. Holding it down. Really, like all of the Chinese fighters, regardless of if they won or lost, most of them put on really good performances. Like I was really impressed, and it was really nice to see. But that was the main card, which was only 4 fights, which I greatly appreciated. Get in, get out, go on with your day or your night, really, or whenever you watch this.
Your morning.
Yeah, your very early morning while you're at work. Supposed to be working, but you know how that goes. But moving on to the Fight Pass prelims. Well, the entire card was on Fight Pass, but prelims. Alex Morono and Song Kanan. My favorite part of this whole fight was it I can't remember, I think it was the end of the first round. He goes back to the corner. Corner man's like so calm and nice, and he's like, "Hey man, you can kick him with the leg kick. It's there." Morono's like, "I'm just gonna jab him." Morono's like, "I just want to throw hands. Who throws kicks? Who does that? That's lame." But I thought that was really funny. But nah, man, this was another fun brawl. A lot of winging right hand bombs going on. Um, I wish I remember this fight more in detail. 'Cause I know I watched this fight twice. I just remember there being a lot of swinging, and definitely Morono was throwing hands and not trying to leg kick.
Basically, Kanan Song is like I'm guessing, just used to being a counterpuncher, and he has had no idea how to get to Morono's chin because Morono's just so freaking weird and so unconventional. And and despite not being like the most technically sound fighter, he understands tactics really well. So like he understands that like he can get like a guy like Kanan Song to bite on basically every not counter, yeah, basically just bite on every like foot feint and like jab feint and then draw out the counter himself. So it was just Morono who just getting Kanan to swing at air and then hitting him, or forcing like a firefight and just being the tighter fighter. Believe it or not, like I don't think Song is used to throwing like long combinations.
Yeah, it was. Oh, they both threw and landed. 'Cause Morono's face was pretty bloody after the fight. I think Kanan had a few good flurries, but yeah, for the most part, Morono he was winning the Rock'em Sock'em robot exchanges. Yeah, it was weird watching him fight because his stance is really stiff, but he's still like this. He throws bombs. he's it's really weird to watch is the way he moves. He doesn't look like the most like athletic person you've ever seen, but he still hits really hard.
Right.
Um, but no, it was a fun fight. I love that cornerman exchange. That was hilarious to me. But shout outs to Morono. Nice, just a nice fun brawl to get the blood flowing. As the feature prelim, so that was awesome. So shout outs to Morono for a good performance. Moving on down, flyweight division for the women. Thank God they're not going anywhere. Wu Yanan and Lauren Mueller. Mueller had a lot of hype coming into this fight. Was she on Contender Series?
Yes.
Okay, I know she was somewhere. No, I've seen her somewhere before.
I'm pretty sure she was, and I think she was the first woman ever signed off the Contender Series. If I remember.
Probably. I knew I remembered her from somewhere. She's coming with a lot of hype as a prospect. I mean, she started off this fight pretty decent. Like, she came in, she was really aggressive. She was trying to set the tone. I don't know if I was, like, underestimating Yanan. I felt like she was deceptively stronger than I thought she was. Like, I was just looking at their physiques and thinking, like, Mueller would be able to kind of, like, bully her around. But that wasn't really the case.
Yanan came down from 135.
All right, okay. All right, that makes sense. I didn't know that. Yeah, because she looked just a lot thinner to me. I don't know. I have bad eyes, so I might be wrong. But
I mean, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know. She looks like she has like a athletic build.
yeah. Not like a puny build. It looked like Mueller was just like big. I was like, oh man, she might be able to just kind of take her down. And
But I mean, she kind of did.
oh yeah, she did. They had a couple of exchanges on the feet. Mueller was being the aggressor. I don't remember if Mueller dropped her or if she just kind of slipped.
Mueller caught a kick and threw a punch at the same time, and Wu kind of just went back.
Okay. Yeah, she ended up on the ground, and Mueller rushes in. I forgot. This finish reminded me of another fight that I can't think of, where I felt like somebody got caught in like this same scenario, where like their arm is just there.
Mike Perry.
Yeah, and like you see the armbar about to happen, and it's just like you gotta move. you gotta get out of there. It's not good.
Right.
But like immediately when Yanan grabbed the arm, she immediately transitioned to the armbar, and the theme of this, no, I ain't said this whole card, but like just of some of these fights is where like fighters are winning until they're not winning. And it's just like that one split-second moment makes all the difference. And Yanan just snatches up an arm, and she got it in pretty deep, and boom. That's all she wrote.
Yep. Best celebration, by the way, of the night. Just like screaming in like pure joy.
Was it this card? I don't know if I'm thinking of this fight or another card. Did she do like 30 cartwheels after she won? Or am I thinking of another fight?
That is, I think that's Weili Zhang.
Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, that was it. I remember somebody did like 30 cartwheels after they won.
But Yana was just out here freaking like hollering her head off, and like she got her blue belt after.
Hey man. Well deserved. Well deserved. So shout out to Yanan. Like I said, man, the Chinese fighters held it down this card. Like even the ones that lost put on pretty solid performances.
All the women won. So
yeah. Women held it down. So shout out to Yanan. Shout out to women's flyweight. You know, just slowly building up, slowly getting some faces in there. Hopefully that division just continues to get better. We'll see more faces, get some more exciting matchups.
Hopefully Ariane Lipsky makes her debut very soon. Queen of Violence, former KSW flyweight champion.
I saw her name in a headline. No.
Her fight like a week or two ago got pulled. I don't know if she was rescheduled.
Okay, yeah, I knew she had something coming up. Okay, yeah, she was supposed to fight on the 17th earlier this month, and that. Okay, yeah, I knew I had seen her name somewhere. But no, yeah, shout outs to women's flyweight. Shout outs to Wu Yanan. Really impressive arm bar.
Joanne Calderwood.
Oh,
2-3.
there we go.
That's a possible number one contender fight.
There you go. Flyweight slowly building up. This next fight, the GOAT.
The GOAT.
He missed weight.
Coulter.
He missed weight, but that's okay. It's okay.
Like I said, he's a heavyweight. He can try all he wants to lie to himself and get down to 205.
Oh man, the best fighter prior to this to never win a UFC fight, Rashad Coulter.
I mean, he won a fight, didn't he?
I thought he lost all of them.
I swear he was like 1-3.
For some reason, I thought he would always come close and like
then get knocked out.
Yeah, no, yeah, he lost to Chase Sherman. He lost to Tuivasa. Yeah, and he lost to
right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought he won one.
It's because he always starts off like he's gonna win. Like, like the first couple rounds, you see him throwing bombs, and it's like, oh yeah, he's about to win. And then like the fight just takes another turn, and I think
he doesn't quite have one punch knockout power, but he's like right there.
Like that, I think Dan Hardy mentioned it during the broadcast. It was a perfect summary of like Coulter's career. He catches the toughest breaks because he just fights guys who are like too tough for their own good. And like he does everything. And I was thinking of this while the fight was going on. I was like, we've seen so many people at 205 and heavyweight just get by on being able to hit hard. And they can just win fights off of that fact. And for some reason, Coulter couldn't break through that mold. Like, he could hit hard and damage guys, but they just wouldn't go away.
Like, he just doesn't have stopping. Like, he's just not a great finisher.
Yeah, this fight was close. I wasn't 100% confident when this decision got read that he was going to be the victor. I wasn't sure. But, and the other gentleman, Coulter fought Hu Yaozong.
Who made a good showing of himself.
He did.
Because he arguably won the fight.
Yeah, that's what I said. Going into the decision, because the Coulter definitely won the first. He dropped him really hard too. he dropped Yao Zong in the first. Pounced on him. I thought he was gonna finish him, but Yao Zong was, like Dan Hardy said, man, these dudes are just crazy tough. He was able to recover. He was doing a lot of clinch work. A lot of pushing Coulter up against the fence. Yao Zong was landing a really nice like hook to the body that he would throw. He landed that a number of times. And then in that second round, the second round was really close. Coulter jabbed Yao Zong like 100 times. But Yao Zong like kicked Coulter's leg off. Like he just repeatedly went for that calf kick. So those rounds were close. And then the third, I think I gave the third to Yao Zong. Didn't he catch Coulter with like a flying knee? I want to say
Something like that.
like a switch knee or something. It was a nice brawl. Like Yao Zong was really tough. He was definitely poured in on Coulter. Like I was not comfortable going into the decision that Coulter was gonna win. But hey man, the GOAT pulled it out. He missed weight for his first time dropping to 205. He came in at 208. But I forgive him. It is what it is. But shout outs to 205 for putting on an entertaining fight. I wasn't gonna make fun of anybody after this. I was entertained pretty much the entire fight. So shout outs to the GOAT Rashad Coulter. Shout outs to Hu Yao Zong for a good performance, like you said, in a fight that you could easily argue that he won. And
Joey messaged me.
Oh yeah, I meant to mention that during the broadcast. Joey was. I'm gonna blame myself for this because Joey hit me up like 2 days ago about when we were gonna record. Because he was like, are we doing anything in the holidays? He didn't know if we were gonna be available. I was like, oh no, we should be available. I'll just hit up the Anti-Cool, see what he's doing, and we'll see when we'll all coordinate. I don't think I ever hit you up about it, which means I never hit him about it. And I didn't message him until like 6 o'clock this morning.
Oh, he's sick. He also says he hasn't seen the UFC main card or Chuck Tito 3.
Oh God. Okay. Tell him since he's sick, he probably shouldn't watch Chuck Tito 3 until he gets better. He might want to take the meds before you watch Chuck Tito 3. Oh man. Shout outs to Joey. Yeah, he was supposed to join us for this, but I guess he's under the weather. But do you have any thoughts on the Coulter fight?
I did, but I lost them when you brought the fight up. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know. Like, I mean, no, it was a fun fight. I thought Hu Yao Zong probably did enough to win it if you were so inclined. I know what you do with him because, that's what I wanted to get to. Rashad Coulter. We need to stop saying he has good boxing and start saying he has good hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's not a good boxer, but he can throw a combination like nobody's business. Like, he's very fluid, he's very fast. He doesn't often go over his feet with his head and throw his whole body off, but he does it sometimes. Which I imagine will be less of a problem at 205 where guys aren't as big. But yeah, no, like, just a class. He reminds me of a little bit when he first started. Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier, when he first got to UFC, was like a guy who I heard like, oh, he's like such a really great boxer. I was like, no, he has really good hands. He's very fast and he hits hard and he knows how to throw them. But like in terms of just like all the things that make you a good boxer, like footwork and head movement and knowing when to throw your shots, he's not there yet. And that's where I see Coulter at. And the problem is he's like 36. So.
Well, also though, I don't know if he's going back up to heavyweight or if 205 is going to be the new thing. But I don't know. Being 36 at 205, you'll fight for another 5 years. You might be all right. I mean, half the top guys at 205 will probably be dead by the time. They're all so old. They're either old or their bodies are falling apart. They won't be able to walk.
Speaking of 205, remember Fabio Maldonado?
Oh, Maldonado, what's he doing?
He's now he's doing the boxing thing full time now.
Lord.
But North American Boxing Federation heavyweight title. He's going to be fighting former Olympian Oscar Rivas.
Oh boy. How old is Baldonado? He's got to be like 46.
In fight years, probably.
Yeah.
He's actually 8 years old.
He beat Fedor. I mean, the record won't say that. But did I ever go back and... I can't remember if I made it through that whole fight. Like, it was so painful that I think I stopped. Oh, boy. I shouldn't even have brought that up. I'm going to delete that. Guys, don't even pay attention to what I just said. That wasn't a thing that happened. It was a glitch in the Matrix. It was one of those bad Matrix programs. Simulation didn't end the way it was supposed to. But, yeah, moving on to other things that made me very happy. The fighter I think I was most looking forward to on this card, right next to Song Yadong, was Weili Zhang. Right before her UFC debut, I had done like some research on her, and I really enjoyed what I saw. And then her debut happened, and it was awesome. And I didn't even know she was fighting Aguilar. Till this fight, till I saw it, I forgot. I forgot, or I just didn't remember. But, nah, man, the Weili Zhang MVP of the night for me. Just a really dominant performance, and it was impressive the way she did it. If you're not familiar with Aguilar, I mean, she's been around for a while now.
Forever.
Yeah, she's been fighting in this game for a minute. She's been there, done that. She was a staple in World Series of Fighting back when that was still a thing, and she's pretty much known for her grappling. That's her.
She was the original winner of the Bellator, was it strawweight tournament?
Yeah, she wasn't Bellator. I forgot.
Yeah, she beat quote.
Yeah,
quotes,
yeah, robbery.
So what's her face?
Like Frosto or somebody?
Frosto, yeah. Frosto.
She quote unquote beat Makumi Fuji. I'm still bitter about that.
But she did beat Carla Esparza.
Oof.
But that was a decade ago, so.
Yeah.
But she was at one point the number one strawweight on the planet.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest win in Chinese MMA history.
Yeah, and then like I said, she became known. Her bread and butter was her grappling, and Weili Zhang Jessica tried to push the pace and work her game. She did everything I thought she was gonna do. I'm gonna get in close, push you against the cage, make this a grappling match, try to make this a dirty, grimy grappling match, get you down to the ground, and we'll work from there.
I mean, she got halfway there.
Yeah, she got halfway there. She got to the cage. She initiated a clinch.
Then
Weili Zhang is
just muscle the crap.
little sister, get out of my room before I beat you up. Weili Zhang is crazy strong. She is just really sturdy, and she just muscled Aguilar to the ground, and got her to the ground within the first couple of elbows she threw.
Those Brock Lesnar elbows were she took her elbow an inch away from above Aguilar's face and just dropped them.
Right, just really quick, just dip, dip, dip. Just blood is flying everywhere. First elbow, she gets a cut. By the fourth elbow, blood is all over the place. She is getting battered on the ground. Weili ends up going for a triangle. It looked like it was pretty tight at first. She was trying to make some adjustments. She kept elbowing Aguilar in the head, trying to make the triangle tighter. Gives up on the triangle, switches to an armbar. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this was just impressive because this is Jag's world. This grappling and ground game, this is supposed to be where Jag shines, and if she gets you there, it's not supposed to be a good time for you. Weili Zhang muscled her to the ground and just bullied her until she got a submission.
Yeah, like Zhang's a kickboxer. Like she's, I want to say she's the woman who claimed that she beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk as an amateur kickboxer. Like she's a Sando fighter, so like she's only been doing MMA for like 3 years, so she just came in and just beat the crap out of the Jag on the ground, like it was nothing.
So I'm throwing my hot take out. That's a title contender right there, buddy. That's she will be in a title fight at some point.
I've been saying it forever, man. If China's gonna get a title in the immediate future, it's gonna be around Weili Zhang's waist.
Because just the striking prowess, the the Hulk strength, like I don't see a lot of people that are gonna be able to deal with that. And if
it's like Andrade and Tatiana Flores.
Yeah.
And
like
maybe Rose.
But she's gonna be up there. She's gonna be up there, and she's probably gonna get up in that conversation pretty quick.
I'll put it this way: she'll be the first Chinese person to ever challenge for the UFC title.
Yeah. I feel pretty comfortable saying that. Like I said, the only people that'll possibly stop her are the people at the very top of the division. But nah, man, she is stupid strong, hits really hard, good striking, and she's just game. And then she hit 30 cartwheels after she won. It was awesome.
Jumping cartwheels.
Right. so much energy to spare. So shout outs to Weili Zhang, man. Dominant performance over a pioneer, pretty much. Biggest win in her career easily. And if Weili Zhang isn't on your radar, adjust your radar. Get familiar, man. She's here. So shout outs to her. This next fight I literally watched not too long ago, and I don't remember a lot of it. But Liu Pingwan versus Martin Day. I want to say Martin Day was on the Contender Series or one of them Dana White shows.
Let me check.
I think so. I want to say he was from one of those shows. Might be lying, but I thought he was on Contender Series.
No. Wait, what? Yes, he was from the Contender Series back in like 2017, but he's fought 3 times on the regional scene since then.
Okay.
Who's his training? Oh, he's a Hawaii elite MMA guy, so he works out with martial arts co. I want to say he works out with like all the like UFC Hawaiian fighters like Max Holloway and stuff. But,
oh man.
But I can't remember what they were talking about when they were training.
All I remember from this fight is I thought Martin Day won. I don't remember the fight in much detail, but I remember, and I thought and maybe, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't paying attention much. Like I felt comfortable picking that. Oh, Martin Day got that. And then like when Liu got his hand raised, I felt like I was the only one who was like, what? Like that's not right. But nobody else seemed to be up in arms. So I was like, well, maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
It was kind of one of those things where like it took Day a second to get going, so like he ended up losing parts of the first round, despite looking like the cleaner, like more effective, not more effective, but the cleaner striker. He kind of just didn't do enough to, I guess, win down 2 judges' scorecards. Like Pingwan was doing more work. The second round, Day definitely won. He was really just piecing Pingwan up on the feet. Third round, Pingwan gets a takedown and spends some time on top. I don't think he did anything crazy there. Like, he didn't go for a submission or any like big ground and pound, but he scored points. And then Day ended up winning that part of the round on the feet. So it was one of those types of fights where like just depending on what is your preference, that's how you score it.
Well, shout outs to Pingwan. Like I said, once again, Chinese fighters for the most part just holding it down, man. putting on good performances, winning fights, just really, really showing out. Speaking of showing out, moving on, back to strawweight for the women. Xiaonan Yan versus Siri Kondo. much like the Song Yadong fight, Zhao Nanyan, I thought, won this fight. Uh, uh, so much volume, so many combinations, punches, kick, just everything. Just Kondo was just kind of out there, just like, what is going on? Like, Zhao Nanyan was just kind of letting loose every combinations, hitting her with the Kia sound with every strike. She was, and it just went on for 3 rounds. Like, it was just, she really just mixed everything together well, just in terms of strikes. Like I said, just lots of combinations, not really throwing the same thing twice, just hitting you with a lot of different looks. So much going on. You're in overload. You can't even really get your game off because there's a punch or a kick or something in your face every 2 seconds. Zhao Nanyan's another strawweight who I just want to keep track of. She just seems like she puts, no matter win or lose, she's just going to put on exciting fights because she's just down to throw. And just kind of go for it. And yeah, she just, everything but the kitchen sink got thrown at Kondo. And then Zhao Nanyan won a unanimous decision, and it was just really fun to watch. Just, like I said, kiosk sound effect, every punch, 30 punches, 30 kicks, elbows, whatever she wanted to throw, she threw. And she just did it for 3 rounds straight.
And she ended the fight on by throwing 5 spinning back fists.
And didn't land any of them, but kept doing it.
I mean, if I was that far ahead,
yeah.
I'd be spamming some wild crap too. So
she earned it.
Yeah, she to me, she kind of has the same problem that Caressa Shields has, and is that everything they do is just straightforward and full blast. So, if you can't get your opponent out of there really quick, they have time to adapt and, they're able to build their own confidence because they're taking your best shots and they're still there. So, you saw, I still think Kondo lost, every single round, don't get me wrong, but Kondo fought better in the 3rd round than she did in the 1st round. And it's part because, Shannon just is just bigger and just has an athletic gap where she's just a straight up better athlete than Kondo. And she was just like you said, she was these 5-6 punch combinations where it just seemed she was never gonna stop. But moving forward, I'd like to see her just change speeds more, right? Because she can put these women out. It's hit hard. It's just that at 115 you gotta be a little bit more subtle. The shots not gonna hurt people are gonna be the ones they don't see coming. Maybe go to the bottom a little bit more. No, not bottom, the body. So, but other than that, just can't fault her for what she did. I'm pretty sure the strike differential was probably 2-1. Maybe 3-1.
Yeah, she was moving out here. She was getting it done. So, shouts to Zhao Nanyan, another strawweight to keep an eye on. Moving on to middleweight, turning from his debut against Thiago Santos, which just doesn't even seem fair. Kevin Holland is back, fighting John Phillips.
Such a
it seems like before you fight him, you couldn't really get mad. He's in there, he's being competitive, he's punching you, but he's smiling at the same time.
He's having fun.
He apologizes when he hits you low. He caught. Well, all right, that was one thing that stood out to me in this fight. He spammed that teep kick 5 times, and and Phillips, it reminded me of the Overeem Travis Brown, where it's dude, he just keeps doing this. It's the same kick over and over. But hey, it kept working. But he caught Phillips low once, and literally he yells across the cage, "I'm sorry, John." He's just the nicest dude ever. But nah, man, he's for as young as he is into his fight career, like he's still like really talented. There were moments where like I liked how he used his reach. He had Phillips backed against the cage, and he was just throwing these really long jabs and combinations where he could get in and hit Phillips, and Phillips couldn't really return fire. He gets creative with his strikes. Like he seems like a guy who he'll try anything. Like he's just kind of out there having fun, and he just happens to be talented and good at it. So in this fight it worked out. I couldn't really hold the Santos fight against him. I mean, even in that loss, he was still impressive considering your first fight is like a killer. Like I can't even really fault you for for losing that. Nah, man, it was a fun fight because it just looked like Holland was having a blast, and it made you just want to root for him because he was just having so much fun. But I did like he showed some takedown work. I want to say it was like the second or third round. He mixed it up a bit. I mean, Phillips was out there winging punches. He was definitely like the bigger of the two, or at least the thicker. And that was another thing I was wondering about Holland in terms of him fighting at middleweight because he just kind of like Adesanya. He has like that tall, lanky build, but he's not really, or at least he doesn't look like he's the strongest guy, or like if he was to fight like a top tier middleweight, or I guess he kind of did with Santos at the time, but like it just gives the impression that guys at that level might like be able to muscle him around because he's just so lanky. But dude's creative on the feet. He's out there having fun. I mean, Phillips was trying to catch him against the cage, trying to get in close and wing some power shots. But Holland ended up taking him down. I love when Holland took him down with that simple, I'm just going to grab your foot and you're going to fall. Like, anytime that happens, I just die laughing.
It was even like an ankle sweep. It was just like, oh, I'm kneeling before him, so I'm just going to pull his feet out.
Right? He just literally pulled his feet out. He just literally just fell. Like, it wasn't really like a finesse move. It was just, but nah, he took him down, man. He ended up taking his back. He got the rear naked choke. So that was his first. Well, I forgot. Did the Contender Series wins count as like UFC wins?
No.
Okay. All right. So yeah, this would be his first official UFC win. He's definitely somebody to keep an eye on. If not for anything, he's just a fun personality, and sometimes that's. But it's coupled with talent though. It's not like he's fun and he's trash. Like he's fun and like there's something there. He's still really green, but there's something there. So shout out to Kevin Holland, man. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight. He's like I said, he's just out there having a blast, and it's fun to watch.
Sorry. Yeah, I think this dude's fought like 20 times and only been fighting for 4 years. But he looked really good here against a guy you should probably look really good against if you're going to be like for real in this division. Obviously still green, still things to pick up, but like you said, that sequence where he hurt Phillips with a body kick and then Phillips was just up along the cage and he was just picking him off from distance with like strikes, like teeps the body, jabs, crosses, and just he didn't get touched because Phillips just couldn't reach him. That's some special stuff. That's the good stuff. And hopefully he continues to craft that game because like it's really fun to watch.
You know where he trains at?
I can look. I want to say they mentioned it on the broadcast. Fanlix MMA in Fort Worth, Texas. That's the same gym as people are familiar. I don't know. Huh. It's just a small gym in Texas, apparently. The guy who his main the only other pro with a winning record there is a super heavyweight who fought Josh Copeland in 2013, Antonio Lopez, and he's a super heavyweight.
Well, whatever they're doing, it's working. I'm pretty sure he's the star of that gym. Go out on a limb and say he's definitely the star of that gym.
Probably. I don't remember who was on the broadcast. Sorry, it might have been Dan Hardy. Mentioned that he talked to some of the fighters and they spent time down there. So who knows? Who knows?
But he's holding it down. Somebody to definitely keep an eye on. So shout outs to him, getting his victory, getting the finish. And the last fight on the card, Louis Smoker returning back to the UFC after winning some fights on the regional scene, coming back to bantamweight, fighting Sue Mutajiri, if I'm saying that correct. All I remember from this fight is Smoker just wanted to grapple to death and just go for takedowns, try to work the ground game. I think Sue landed one good flurry and then got taken down immediately after. Smoker was just really adamant about getting this to the ground. And he ended up getting an armbar.
To Mutajiri, Muderji, I don't know how to say his name. To his credit, his team, I guess they were forward about they hadn't had much ground training for him. And he didn't look terrible on the ground. He was able to recover guard a lot in the first round. He was going for stuff, trying to get up off his back. It just didn't work because Smoker's such a good wrestler and grappler from the top. But yeah, Smoker just by the end, Smoker was just beating the crap out of him from the top with really heavy ground and pound. And then he submitted him with an armbar. So, welcome back to the UFC, Smoker.
All right.
I'm curious if they brought Smoker in because they thought they had something in Sue, and we're just okay, we're gonna bring back one of the flyweights for him to beat, and then they brought back Smoker, who is just the worst stylistic matchup for him. It's a really strong chain wrestling grappler. So, I don't know what the plan was, but I'm happy Smoker's back. He's got a job.
And yeah, you could tell it meant a lot. He cried for a long time after he got that W. So, yeah, man. Shout outs to him.
I mean,
and
they were talking about in the broadcast he came back from alcoholism for this. So.
Yeah, going through that and then coming back to bantamweight because flyweight is just
gone.
Yeah, it's pretty much no man's land.
He has 3 fights left.
Yeah, and that'll probably get sent over yonder somewhere. But yeah, man. Shout outs to Smoker, man. That was a really impressive performance. Just grappling clinic until he got the submission. And that was the card. That was UFC Beijing. According to Wikipedia, if these are correct, fight of the night was Alex Morono and Song Kanan. And performances of the night went to The Leech and Francis Ngannou. So shout outs to those gentlemen. Pocketing, I guess, to be extra $50K or whatever. Shout outs to them. Getting some extra money in the pockets. Oh, I just realized that The Leech was supposed to have fought Zaleski.
Yep.
That
would have been some chaos.
They gotta make that still. That has to happen. That's too fun not to happen.
I hope it happens on TV.
Yeah, you cannot stash that away on a prelim. That needs to be on television because somebody's dying. But no, that was UFC Beijing. I really enjoyed this card. Even though it came on at 3:30 in the morning, it was convenient because it was on Fight Pass. So it's even if I miss it, I know I can just log on and go back and watch it. I watched some of it at work, some I watched back home. So it was convenient on that front. And then I feel like we make fun of the Swedes every episode, but sometimes the UFC will go into a country, they'll put their local guys on the card, and their local guys will get starched. Um, but the Chinese fighters, especially the women, like they all, really all of them in general held it down, but especially the women because literally all of them won. But
I mean,
it was
in all fairness, it helps when the bar is hella low. Like,
yeah.
Because we're only a couple years removed from like that tough China season where like they brought on the yoga master guy who had never done MMA before and they had to kick him off the show.
But no, even still, man, like all the Chinese fighters put on good performances. And like I said, if anything, if out of all the Chinese fighters, we probably have a future title contender in Weili Zhang. If you don't keep an eye on anybody else, that's the one you have to keep an eye on because it's. I think her win will have some pretty big implications moving forward. And like the prelims were solid. Like I said, just a lot of prospects and probably unfamiliar faces to a lot of people showed out and had good performances. And then you move on to the main card. Every fight was pretty much on point. If you're an Overeem fan, he didn't die this fight, so that was awesome. Francis Ngannou came back. He's back. he's back doing what he has always done prior to like these last two fights. So yeah, man, UFC Beijing was a good time. If you don't have Fight Pass, I mean, you can always sign up for the free trial.
Or you can pirate it.
Or that. I wasn't gonna say it, but you can.
I mean, it's an option. It's not legal, but it's an option.
Yeah. And we're all about options. Exercise your right. But yeah, man. So that was UFC Beijing, but no, really good card, man. I really enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen it, you have Fight Pass, go back and watch it. The main card will go by pretty quick because the co-main and main event lasted like enough time for one round, and then the other fights, even though they went the distance, they were all entertaining to watch. So yeah, UFC Beijing was a good time, man. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, I wish it would have happened after Chuck Tito 3, but
you could have plotted around that, my guy.
I could have, but I gotta get my prayer in order after this is over. Ask for forgiveness and guidance. All that good. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm really hungry. So yeah, on that note, we'll just wrap this up with parting shots and shout outs. I feel like I had a shot at like the NCAA for something that happened. And
shots in general.
There you go. Yeah, y'all. I'm pretty sure y'all did something this week that was stupid. So I feel like there was a story or something. I can't. Well, I need to really start writing. I say this every week and I don't do it. I need to start writing my shots down. I never remember the people I want to make fun of. But I do have some shout outs on a non-fight related note. Well, not really a shout out, just a FYI. If any of you guys want to use Hulu, it's holiday season, at least for the next 34 hours at the time of this recording. We're recording on November 25th. So 34 hours from this point, you can get Hulu for 99 cents a month for the next 12 months. They don't pay us. This isn't a plug. I'm just FYI. If you want to spend 99 cents for 12 months, you can do that. You have to sign up within the next 34 hours.
I might do that.
Just passing the news along because somebody sent it to me. So, if that interests you, go ahead and do that. Also, moving on to the NBA, man. Shout outs to Kemba Walker, who's been going off. Who's been just going off this month, man. He had like a 60-point game, a 40-point game. Yeah, he had a couple lapses this month. I got the stats in front of me. A couple of games he didn't do so good, but for the most part, man, Kemba Walker has been going off, and it's bittersweet because I mean, I've been a fan of Kemba Walker since he played in Connecticut. Which, if you haven't seen like his Connecticut highlights, go back and watch, man. The dude is a really good, just a really good point guard, man. This dude he's always been a good player in the NBA, but he plays in Charlotte where you're just kind of in purgatory. So it's almost like he had to have like a 60-point game for people to really take notice. But no, the Kemba Walker is just a really good basketball player, and it just really sucks that he's stuck in Charlotte with no help. I don't know what Michael Jordan's doing over there, but he hasn't gotten this man any help. It's pretty much just the Kemba Walker show over there. But nah, man, shout out to Kemba Walker, man. Dude has just been balling out of control. And shout out to Gonzaga for handing Duke their first loss. As much as I watch, I hate Duke. I can't emphasize that enough. But like their talent this season is too good to not watch. I can't lie, it is must-see TV. But in the core of my heart, I'm still a Duke hater. So when they lose, it still makes me smile. So shout outs to Gonzaga. For even though they missed 80 free throws down the stretch, they still they still got the W. So shout outs to them. And like I said, I thought I had a shot. Pretty sure somebody in NCAA got me mad this week, but I can't remember. So you guys will live. But yeah, shout outs to Hulu, 99 cents a month. Shout outs to Kemba Walker balling out. Shout outs to Gonzaga for handing Duke their first loss of the season.
Okay. Wait, what? Never mind. Shouts to I don't know, white cheddar popcorn. Because that's been my breakfast today, and I don't know. Dimitri Bivol, he won a fight yesterday against John Pascal on HBO. So just oh, you know what? Shouts to Carson Shields and Cecilia Breakhouse. We're gonna be fighting on HBO on December 8th.
Hey, there you go.
It took HBO leaving boxing for them to finally put on a friggin' women's card. Well, it's not an all women's card. Chuck Vs Tito's on it, but card featuring a couple women and one in the main event. So there you go.
There you go. Oh, real quick before we leave, because we mentioned the last podcast, but we're coming off the holiday. How was Thanksgiving?
I drove to Delaware, hung out with my family, then drove back.
What's the one food you have to have on Thanksgiving?
I don't really have one. I'm not with the turkey. Like, I'll eat it, but it's not like it's my least favorite bird to eat.
Yeah, it's overrated.
Yeah, I'm like, can we just fry a chicken? Because it's so much better.
No, I'm with you. Turkey's not bad, but it's overrated.
But I'm not these people get really excited over Thanksgiving food. Like, not that my family can't cook or nothing. It's just like I'm not about that life.
That's fine.
As someone who indulges in all the worst food on an almost daily basis, like it is just like, oh, a special day for eating. Every day is a special day for eating if you're me.
Hey man, I ain't mad at that. I think for me, I definitely love collard greens. That is it's always a must-have for me. Sweet potato pie is probably the most important.
Hey.
That's pretty much what I look to every Thanksgiving. It's all about sweet potato pie, and mac and cheese is also a staple. Thanksgiving was cool. Saw my dad, saw my uncle, ate good food. I had the itis about like 1:30, and I remember watching the Bears game, and I passed out in the first quarter, and by the time I woke up, I think the game was over. So that's how my Thanksgiving went. It was a good time.
You missed the Meghan Trainor concert?
Yeah. I was out, man. I died. I died and came back and ate some more, and then died. Yeah, but it decent Thanksgiving. Didn't do anything too crazy, but the decent holiday. We got Christmas coming up around the corner. Still need to finish buying gifts for her, but that's.
I need to start buying gifts, so you're ahead of me.
Hey man, take advantage of these sales.
Wait. I'll say it for off, whatever recording.
Oh, also real quick before we leave, shout out to Black Thought. He's dropping an album. I want to say by the time you guys hear this, it should be out.
Prisoners
And
of Conscience too, right?
Yeah, and it just sounds like this is gonna be really good. I really love that single they put out. Go support Black Thought, man. It's gonna be a really, really awesome album. So yeah, so those are shout outs. Hope you guys had a good holiday. Man, the year is coming to a close. As you mentioned, we were talking right before we started recording. It's a lot of cards coming in the next couple weeks.
It never effing ends.
Yeah, I don't know. Like next week, there are like a bunch of cards that are happening like at the same time.
There are 2 UFC cards, 2 Bellator cards, fucking Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. I'm sure there's a kickboxing card because I haven't freaking looked into it, but I bet there is one.
Yeah. So I don't know how we're gonna cover all of these. It might end up being one of those podcasts where we just kind of pick just the hot topics and just kind of the best fights. And
I mean, believe me, we're going to talk about Deontay Wilder versus.
Oh no, yeah.
Because
we have to. Yes.
Those two are too strange not to have some shenanigans.
Yeah. That'll probably get first dibs. Like that'll probably be the first thing we talk about. But just bear with us. It's a lot to cover. And I try to fit these, or we try to our best of ability to fit the episodes within a respectable time frame. We come up on the short end of the stick more often than not, but we try. But nah, man, next week's gonna be kind of challenging, man. It's a lot to cover. It's gonna be a lot to sift through. But I can tell you that Bellator Italy card, that ain't the move. If you're excited for that, we ain't got nothing for you.
I mean, is it gonna be in the Coliseum?
I don't know.
I'd be excited for it.
I don't know. But if you're expecting for some Alessio Sakara coverage on this podcast,
I don't speak no Italian, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know if we're gonna have it for you. We might give it like a quick mention, just whether if he won or lost. But as far as in-depth coverage goes, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But nah, man, it's been another episode of the Dojo Talk podcast, man. Appreciate you guys for listening. As always, you can catch us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. Hit me up on Twitter @SerialSensei. You can also hit us up on the Dojo Talk podcast Facebook page. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. And you can purchase my book, The Oddball Chronicles, on Amazon right now for 99 cents. Thank you to everybody who purchased it. I didn't know it was Small Business Saturday, so I bombarded somebody's post and posted my book, and somebody bought it. So shout outs to you. @chill_designs. She'll probably never listen to this, but
I mean, who knows?
Appreciate the purchase. The 99 cents is going to a good cause. So yeah, man.
I mean, it's Christmas season. Go buy the book for your family.
Yeah, but 99 cents. This is a Black Friday sale all year round. 99 cents of your time. And I will be putting out a final Road to the Oddball Chronicles episode, just talking about the future of the book and other things I'm working on. That'll be coming pretty soon. Might even be out by the time you guys hear this. But either way, thank you guys for listening to the Dojo Talk podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. As always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And until next time, we will catch you guys later.